We're on Bikkurim Perek Aleph, Mishnah Hey, fifth Mishnah in the first chapter of Bikkurim. So this Mishnah is a continuation of our last Mishnah. In the last Mishnah, we talked about Geirim. We talked about a ger, okay, mevi ve'eno koreh, because he can't say Nishba Hashem lavotenu late lanu. Okay, and then we talked about im haya imo mi Yisrael mevi ve'koreh. If he had a mother from that was Yisrael, or a father for sure, then he could say lavotenu late lanu. So we're talking about a ger that has both parents. Okay, a person who is both parents were not Jewish. Okay, so our Mishnah is going to be a continuation, discussing a totally separate issue, but sort of related. Rabbi Lezer ben Yaakov Omer. Rabbi Lezer ben Yaakov says, Isha bat Geirim, lo tinaseh lekihuna. If I have a woman whose both of her parents were Geirim, they both lived in, I don't know, in El Paso, Texas, they became close to Judaism, they both converted together and they had a daughter. Rabbi Lezer ben Yaakov says, this daughter, okay, lo tinaseh lekihuna, can't marry a Kohen. Why? Ad sheteh imam Yisrael, unless either her mother was from Israel, or specifically her father, definitely her father. Okay, what's the reason for this halacha? So the Kahati says the following. It's based on the following psukim. Torah says the following. We're talking about Kohanim, and this is in Vayikra Perek Chaf Aleph. Kedoshim yu lo Elohem, v'lo yechalilu et Shem Elohem. The Kohanim have to be kedoshim. They can't be mechalel, desecrate or profane the name of Hashem. Ki et isheh Hashem alechem Elohem hem makrivim. Because the isheh, the offerings of Hashem, the bread of God, they're offering Vayu Kodesh, they have to be holy, and therefore they have to be careful about who they marry. Isha zonah v'chalala lo yikachu, isha gerusha isha lo yikachu. They can't marry a chalala, a zonah. There are different halachic understandings of what that means. A gerusha they can't marry, ki kadoshu le'elohav, and also they can't marry gioret. For that reason, Rabbanan Ed, they can't marry gioret. Okay, but what about but a woman who is born from two Geirim, she's a Yisrael l'chol davar. That's true, but there's a pasuk in Yechezkel. The Kahati explains that the Gemara in Kiddushin Daf Ayin Chet quotes the pasuk in Yechezkel. Va'almana u'grusha lo yikchu lehem lenashim. Yechezkel says the Kohanim cannot take an almana and grusha, similar to grusha me'isha. Okay, and almana is, and this actually an almana is an extension. Really, almana only applies to a Kohen Gadol. We're not going to get into that now. Ki'im betulot mizera beit Yisrael. Okay. They can only marry betulot, virgins, mizera beit Yisrael. They have to be zera beit Yisrael. So come back to our Mishnah. Rabbi Lezer ben Yaakov says they are not zera beit Yisrael. If a girl was born to two Geirim, this is what the Bartuner explains. Dichtiv, as it says, this is what we said in Yechezkel, mizera beit Yisrael yikchu lahem nashim. Okay, kisheima mi Yisrael. When the mother is from Yisrael, at least, definitely the father too. Karina ba mizera Yisrael. We call that zera Yisrael. Afilu miktzat zera, even small amount. So if any of her parents are, according to Rabbi Lezer ben Yaakov, Jewish, then Jewish from birth, i.e., not a convert, then that's okay. Okay. Now the Kahati explains that this Mishnah is actually, it's sort of a quote of a different Mishnah. I just switched. You see, Daled Zayin. We're now in Kiddushin. I'm going to switch back. There we go. Kiddushin, Perek Daled Mishnah Zayin, where we see the original. This is really just a repeat of the same Mishnah. Okay? Rabbi Lezer ben Yaakov Omer, Yisrael shenasa gioret pitok sheira lekehuna. If an Israelite married a gioret, then his daughter the daughter of a gioret, of Israel and a gioret, can marry a Kohen. Similar to ger shenasa bat Yisrael, or a ger married about Yisrael, pitok sheira lekehuna. Aval ger shenasa gioret, but if a ger married a gioret, psula, pitok psula lekehuna. That's the same Rabbi Lezer ben Yaakov that we see here in our Mishnah. But at the end of the Mishnah, at the end of the Mishnah, Rabbi Yossi Omer, Rabbi Yossi said, "Af ger shenasa gioret, bitok sheira lekehuna." Rabbi Yossi argued and said, "No, even a ger that married a gioret, their daughter can marry a Kohen." So who do we pass it like? So we have a machloket. So it's interesting. In our Mishnah, it's just brought down Rabbi Lezer ben Yaakov, but in the Mishnah Kedushin says it's a machloket between Rabbi Lezer ben Yaakov and Rabbi Yossi. So the Gemara says, the Bartuner says, Maskinan be'Gemara. So the Maskinan Gemara, who do we follow? Shabali Malech. If a Kohen comes to Beit Din and asks, what should I do? Marvin look Rabbi Lezer ben Yaakov. If he asks us, should I marry this one woman who's the daughter of two Geirim? Then we follow the position, L'chadchila, Rabbi Lezer ben Yaakov. Shelo yisa Kohen bat ger v'gioret. Aval im nasab, once they're married, halachak Rabbi Yossi. Then we follow the position, V'diavad Rabbi Yossi. Ve'ein motzin oto miyado, and we don't make him divorce her. So even though it appears as a stam Mishnah in our Mishnah in Bikkurim, we're back in Bikkurim, nonetheless, we don't paskin like that b'di'evit. Okay? The Mishnah continues. Echad Geirim, it wouldn't matter. This is according to Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov's opinion. Echad Geirim, Echad Avadim Meshucharim. It's the same whether she's the daughter of, according to Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, Geirim, or freed slaves. V'afilu ad asara dorot, even to 10 generations, i.e., Geirim marries the Giorit, and they have a child. And that child marries the children of other Geirim married Giorit. I.e., if you keep it in the Geir community, you have a whole community in El Paso. And they all married each other. And they all became Jews. Now they all only marry people in the same community for 10 generations. Eliezer ben Yaakov says that's not Mizera Yisrael, Mizera Beit Yisrael, and they can't marry a Kohen. But as we've learned before, Rabbi Yossi argues. Ad shetei iman Yisrael, until somebody marries a Yisraelite. All right, that's the end of that topic according to the Mishnah. The Mishnah continues. We now return to our originally scheduled programming, i.e., who can and cannot bring or Bikkurim. Remember we saw, let's go back to our chart for a second. We have this Mivi'im V'Korim. We have 3 categories, Mivi'im V'Lo Korim, and Ein Mivi'im, those who bring Bikkurim and recite Mikra Bikkurim, those who bring and don't recite, and those who don't bring at all. Okay, so now we continue on our list. Ha'apotropos, V'Shliach, Ve'eved, V'Isha, Ve'Tumtum, V'Androgonus. Apotropos is a court-appointed representative, usually for a property that belongs to Yatomim, that belongs to children who have no parents. Shliach, a representative, a messenger. I say, I can't go to Yerushalayim. I send my messenger to bring my Bikkurim. Eved, a slave, Aisha, a woman, or Tumtum, an androgynous. Tumtum is, he doesn't have simanim of sexual simanim. He's not a zachar, not a nekeva. He doesn't have either siman. Or an androgynous is one who has both. We're actually going to see the last chapter of Bikkurim, for whatever reason, strongly goes into, in great depth, Tumtum and androgynous. All of those people, Mivi'im V'Lo Korim. They bring Bikkurim, but they don't say Mikra Bikkurim. Why? She'inam yicholim lomar, asher natata li Hashem. They can't say, the land which Hashem gave me. Let's go back to the psukim that we saw in Mikra Bikkurim. Arami Ovei Ravi. Okay? The end of Arami Ovei Ravi says, V'ata. And now, in Eiviti et Reshit Pri Adama, asher natata li Hashem. I brought the beginning, first fruit of Pri Adama, that Hashem has given me. So these people cannot say the land was given to me by Hashem. Why not? Let's go one by one. Apotropos, it's not his land. Shliach is also not his land. Eved and Isha. Eved and Isha didn't have an inheritance in the land of Israel. You'll talk to me about Benot Slavchad? All right, well, you'll ask me. But they didn't have Benot Slavchad, they had a Yerusha. The commentaries say that they inherited it. It wasn't actually their land. And Tumtum and Androgonus also, since they don't have explicit simanim that they're male, they also didn't inherit, so they can also not say, Asher natata li Hashem. All right, that's enough. We'll stop here. If you have any comments or questions, as always, feel free to email me at rspolter@gmail.com. We'll dedicate the learning to the memory of my father, Rav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a good day.